It's been a hell of a week. The question is, do I chug this beer that I have? Do you chug the beer that you have? Or do we enjoy it throughout the duration of this show?
I say the latter.
Okay. Welcome to the weekend. Cheers.
Cheers.
Nickarskielodeon and Zenski with you here.
Cheers.
Yeah, we've got a wildly packed show for today. Lots to get to. All positive talk. None of the crazy chaos that's going on, even though I feel like we're partially drinking to the crazy chaos that's going on. Not just in the world. We don't need to say
that, though.
Well, not just because of that stuff, but the fact that the Bills have basically driven me to drink and go back to my old ways like I used to. Not necessarily as confident in them as I used to be. The NBA is shook because of some blockbuster trades that are going on. I don't know, man. This has just been a wildly weird week.
Blockbuster trades in the MLB world too. I'm a happy Mets fan this week.
Yeah, how about that? We didn't even talk about that. I didn't win the lottery. Like, good God Almighty! I actually played the lottery for once because it's like buku bucks right now. We're talking about like a combined $1 billion between I think the Mega Millions and the Powerball. I think it's called. Look, I don't play the lottery hardly ever. And when I do, it's because of instances like this where you could end up being half a billionaire and everybody else and their mother is playing it. So I haven't won. That just means it's reason for me to drink.
Fair enough. And I'm just impressed that you wanted to take on the lottery and a Bills playoff game at the same time. Like that's a lot of stress for one person.
You think?
I know.
Yeah, man. It's a wild. My life the last couple of days has been wild. Okay.
Yeah, but as you said, we have a lot of stuff to get to this show, so let's kick it off with some headlines.
Here's what you missed.
You want to kick it off, or you want me to?
You kick it off.
Okay. So one of my favorite events is the Kennedy Center Honors. And they haven't done it for the last, well, they have done it for the last few years, but they obviously didn't do it most recently because of COVID-19 and everything like that. A certain someone doesn't attend them. Usually somebody who's sitting in an Oval Office will attend these events. So it's just been a really weird dynamic for the Kennedy Center Honors the last few years. But the 43rd edition of the Kennedy Center Honors were announced here a couple of days ago on Wednesday. And I love this list. I think it's a tremendous list, and I think somebody who is going to be honored, it's long overdue. And I had no idea that they have never been an honoree before. But it includes Debbie Allen, well known as a choreographer, actor. I mean, she's just through the roof of talent. Joan Baez, who is a super famous singer-songwriter. Violinist, I hope I'm saying this right, Midori. I'm not a violinist person. I'm sorry if that's not how you say it. One guy who I'm kind of surprised did not get this award before, but it makes absolute sense, is Garth Brooks, who is one of the greatest selling country music artists of all time. And then one of my favorite people of all time, the one and only Dick Van Dyke, will receive this Lifetime Achievement Award, which is long overdue for this guy.
Legend, absolute legend. I memean, not just from the Dick Van Dyke Show and Mary Poppins, but like, I mean, you name it. Like this guy, he is somebody even at his old age that I think a lot of people. He could walk into a room with a lot of like our generation people and be like, oh my God, Dick Van Dyke.
Oh yeah, you know? I would
like
lose my mind if I ever ran into that guy. It's all about the charm with this guy who's, I mean, he's getting up there in age, and God bless him, he's still doing it all. He's still acting, he's still singing, he's, you know, just performing. And he is one of the most, I would say, cherished performers in the history of show business.
I would say I would agree with that. 100%.
For him to get this, I think it's huge. So much deserved honor for so many people, but especially Dick Van Dyke.
And I was curious about this as we were talking about it. He is also a Disney legend. I wasn't sure about this, but if you're not familiar with that award, it's something that the Walt Disney Company gives out to people across the various industries that Walt Disney Company oversees, and it's one of the more prestigious things that you could get in terms of honor in the show business.
Kennedy Center Honors. It looks like they'll actually have the event scheduled from May 17th through the 22nd, with the gala broadcast on June the 6th, and that will be on CBS as it usually is.
From the Kennedy Center to beer.
Amen, brother.
There's no way to transition between the two, except by saying that a beer cave from the 1800s was found under St. Louis.
What?
That's right. A cave used for storing beer in the early 1800s has been rediscovered underneath a community garden in St. Louis. The McHose and English Cave Recovery Team said the beer cave was located in the Benton Park neighborhood in spring 2020, and the team used a pair of holes to get cameras into the underground cavern. This was the brewery epicenter of the city of St. Louis because of all the caves. Somebody said it really gives us an opportunity to reconnect with the past and hopefully step foot in a garden that hasn't been opened in over 100 years. And what they mean by gardens, they said this was also home to a mushroom farm, a wine grotto, and a community gathering space. What the hell is going on in St. Louis? Seriously.
Same thing. What in God's name? I don't know, man. That's some pretty wild stuff. See, here I am getting not excited because it's not going to be drinkable beer by any stretch of the imagination, but something cool like, oh yeah, you find a little beer cave from way back in the day when, there was probably a celebration for the brew industry, if you will, because it was so popular back then before Prohibition and stuff like that. And then you just rattle off that info. I was not expecting that.
And this is like the second time in like the 3 or 4 weeks that we've talked about old booze being discovered.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is this just a sign of the times that like people are so just like fed up with the world that are actively going to look for like really, really old alcohol? Like they're tired of like going to their liquor store at 4 o'clock on a Thursday. Hey, Bob. No, Bob, I'm actually going to skip a week. I'm going to go dig a cave and see what I could find. Like, is that where we're at?
You know who I heard was really good with his words, especially when drunk?
Who, Nicholas?
Shakespeare. Transition.
Yep. All right. This is mine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So another good place to watch or to drink beer is while you're watching Netflix. And there's a website called Bonus Finder that is wants somebody dedicated to being a professional binge watcher. Bonus Finder is a website dedicated to reviewing and offering deals for illegal gambling sites. Said a professional binge watcher will be called on to watch and review 3 series on Netflix while eating pizza takeout from various locations. The selected candidate will be required to review each series based on story and plot lines, Netflix and chill suitability, acting quality and cheesiness, satisfaction of episodes, and series endings. That is a lot to consider, if you ask me.
What do you mean that's a lot to consider?
Like, so it's not, because like usually you watch a show and like, oh yeah, this is good, but you actually have to take notes on, it says plot lines, Netflix and chill suitability, acting quality and cheesiness, satisfaction of episode and series ending. So it's like, it's a legit thing, and it should be if it says Bonus Finders are going to shell out $500 for this.
Whoa. I was just going to ask how much the price was. It's only $500?
500 Benjamins.
No, then the
or
hell with that.
5 Benjamins.
The hell with that. I mean, I don't care about that. See, if you're talking a couple of grand here, then I'm all in with eating the cheese pizzas and watching the terrible movies and basically going to town when it comes to like comprehending all of them and
right.
breaking them all down and stuff like that. I don't want $500.
Really? But like, I mean, you could easily do if you just spent like an entire weekend doing
Zenski,
that.
I tried to win the lottery when it was like $500 million, okay? I could buy a big piece of Netflix with that money. I don't care about $500.
You can buy all of Netflix with that money.
Yeah, kind of close to it.
Right?
Speaking of lottery, I'm very jealous about this man from Maryland who collected a $50,000 top prize for the second time in just over a year. Lucky
man.
Son of a you-know-what. He's a 54-year-old man from Clinton, Maryland, who bought the ticket at Westlake Wine and Beer, and he discovered that he won $50,000, and it is the second time he has collected that kind of cash. He uses numbers that are combined with family birthdays and some jersey numbers from his favorite athletes, and boy, am I jealous that he's $100,000 richer.
I mean, that's how you pick the lottery numbers, right? You just kind of go down numbers that are important to you and hope that they win.
See, here's the thing. I don't play the lottery enough to really know how to do that or ask the cashier, hey, I want to do that. So what I do is I walk up and I say, hey, can you give me like a couple dollars worth of lottery tickets? And they have the random number generator thing.
Yeah.
Give me my numbers.
That's one way to do it.
Then you got this guy over here from Maryland who's just, I don't know, throwing down his own numbers and winning buku bucks here. I mean, come on, what's up with this guy?
Well, that's the thing. You have like there's two pools of lottery players. There's the dedicated players who are at the convenience store, the bodega, every day buying their tickets, and like they have their ritual. They know what numbers they're going to get. And then you have the people like us that only play when there's like a Powerball or, you know, a Mega Millions or something. So. Hey, good for you, dude. $100,000.
Here's the thing, though. I wonder if this is one of those dudes that spent close to like $10,000 each year playing the lottery just so he can try and win an extra $40,000.
Well, that's why they have places for people with gambling addiction, my friend.
Final headline.
Last but not least.
How about them Buffalo Bills, baby?
Hey.
I know. Nice 3-point win against the Colts. They move on to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs with a huge matchup coming up on Saturday night, national TV. Granted, all the matchups are national TV at this point in the season, but they've got that primetime 8:15 kickoff against the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be absolutely wild to watch that game in primetime Saturday night against the reigning MVP of the National Football League. Buffalo just barely got by the Colts. Like I said, 3-point win against Indy. And to put it lightly, I am already nervous as hell. That is why I'm drinking, and that's why there's only half a beer left in this pint glass.
Yeah, I was watching the game, and there were points where I was genuinely concerned for your safety and well-being because, like, oh man, like, because I know how you are, and but hey, I think another week of them in contention. It was a hell of a game. It was a hell of a game. I was telling you before we started recording here that, like, that is, I know how stressful that was for you as a person and as a fan. But, like, that's almost how you want a playoff game to be. You want it to be a little bit of a nail-biter.
Do you really want it to be that way? If you're a fan of that team or one of those teams?
I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth because you want it to be a nail-biter if you come out on top. Maybe not so much if you lose. But I think, you know, I would take that over a game that's a complete blowout. Like, if it was like a 35-0 game, like, come on, is that really that fun?
You know what's not fun? Being in the presence of yours truly when it comes to watching a Bills playoff game.
Which begs the question is, how is Courtney and the zoo doing after that?
The zoo is doing okay.
Courtney,
still a little
not so
scared
much.
to be around me. The fiance, really scared to be around me. And as this week shows, back by popular demand, sometimes things get a little crazy when the Bills play a super meaningful football game. And yours truly is the least confident he's been in that team in a very long time, because the last couple of weeks during the regular season, I was a confident man. I just would wake up on a football Sunday or Saturday, ready to go, reared back, sitting on the couch, enjoying what was to come. And now that the Bills are in the playoffs, I'm scared bleepless, and I'm losing my mind at every single moment. So as we did early on in the regular season, we present to you the sights and sounds of yours truly watching a Buffalo Bills football game.
It's 9 minutes before kickoff. And I already can't even. Let's go. Let's go. Look at all the people there. That's a good crowd. Let's get this done. Sean is approaching with your order. Let's go. Oh my God. Food's here. Hooray. Ooh, the subs say, let's go Buffalo. My mom just texted me. Okay, I admit it. I've been yelling already. Yeah, no some bizarre marinara sauce.
And now,
oh, get him! Oh my God! Nice catch! Way to go, Gabe! Oh my God! Let's go, Dawson! Oh my God! Wrap him up! I'm literally shaking right now. Oh! RPO. Come on, Josh. Come on, Josh! Oh, it's my quarterback! Let's go! Woo! Hey. Come on, Cole. Get a baby! Nope, he's short. Don't you dare give it to him. He's short. Oh, that's a horse ball. That's a delay of game. Come on! You missed it. Come on. Yes! Let's go! Oh, God almighty. He's going deep. Yeah! Let's go, Diggs! Oh my God. This is getting too close to comfort.
Why does your hat smell like a jockstrap?
what does it take to stand up for every...
My hat smells like a jockstrap because I put it by my He got it. He got it. He got it. Yeah! Woo! I come it. Oh my God. Get him! Yeah, nice coverage, Trey! Let's go! Ball is loose! Get it! That's a fumble! Give it to him! There was a timeout. McDermott called for the timeout. All right, ball pops free. That's a fumble! And he lost the ball when he was still up. That's a fumble! End this game right now! Come on, fumble. Oh my God! This is gonna come down to a Hail Mary again. That's horse. Come on. Please don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me. Yeah! Let's go! Woo! Thank God! Oh God. Holy shit. Finally, let's go! Wow.
And just like that, Buffalo Bills win their first playoff game in 25 years.
Well, it's not just like that. There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, you need help.
I need some therapy.
You need a lot. Yeah, well, Courtney could.
I know a person who can maybe.
Courtney, if you're listening, which I hope you are, like, come on, help your fiance out here. This is painful to listen to as a fan, but at the same time, it's equally amusing, if not substantially more amusing. So a couple questions.
What kind of questions do you have? What can we break down here?
I want to break down first of all, what did you order?
Ordered subs from a very large and famous grocery store, and as you may or may not have been able to hear,
good man,
the rappers specifically say "Let's go Buffalo" on them. So I was really excited early on when our delivery guy Sean, I think that was his name, dropped off our subs, contact free. Picked him up, put him on the counter, ripped open the bag, and the bag says "Let's go Buffalo" in there.
Awesome.
That's what the sub say, I should say. So I
didn't realize it because they're from Rochester originally, which is Buffalo's right around the corner from there.
Exactly. What other questions do you have to break down here?
Okay, who was snoring?
That was Comet. Because he's a big old lug who shouldn't be snoring that loudly. But I tell you what, I think he's got some snoring problems, much like yours truly, because apparently we're one and the same when it comes to that department and falling asleep on the snap of a finger.
And I mean, impressed that he could fall asleep with sort of the background noise that you're making. Speaking of background noise, you made some sounds that probably shouldn't come out of a grown man's body. I'm just going to put it that way. Like there were shrieks, there were squeals, there were grunts. It was just a very disturbing orchestra of sound effects from you.
This is what happens when the Bills have gone 0-4. The last 25 years in the playoffs, and they literally are over, and they need to get a victory to get that monkey off their back. And I tell you what, I'm not even kidding when I say my chest hurt so badly at the end of that game. My chest was hurting me for a few days after that, where I thought to myself, maybe I should go get this checked out. Maybe this isn't what, a normal thing that's happening. My phone was blowing up with phone calls and text messages from various people, from family and friends, and some people who I haven't heard from in 2-3 years saying, hey, congratulations on getting the win. Yeah, man. Like, that's what this victory meant to Bills fans, myself included. I know I'm not the only one who was an absolute lunatic for Buffalo in their first playoff win in almost 3 bleeping decades.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness.
But I'm incredibly embarrassed for myself.
Yeah, I'm surprised you played that for all people to hear and discover on the internet.
Look, I've always said I have, here's the thing. If I'm going to embarrass myself, I have no shame in it. So be it. People do embarrassing bleep all the time. So be it. Just let it happen. It's the real me. It's the authentic me while watching a Bills game. I know there's probably going to be a lot of people who never want to step foot and watch a Bills game with me. I've got the family coming over this weekend on Saturday to watch the Bills nightcap on Saturday night against the Ravens. I will not go to my parents' home and have a Bills party because the last time that happened, the Bills lost on the quote-unquote Hail Murray, which was a Hail Mary play from Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins to win the game against the Cardinals. So that's why I invited people over here to watch the game. And we will be doing just that, and hopefully watching the Bills get a spot into the conference championship on Sunday, or for the following Sunday.
Yeah. Well, it goes without saying, God bless the Buffalo Bills. All the luck to you against Baltimore this weekend, and I'll be watching. I mean, I have a vested interest with, again, your health and safety and mental stability. So I got to make sure.
Not even the wins or the losses. It has to do with my personal well-being.
100%. Because I don't have my vested interest in the Bills is through my friends such as you, such as Steph, who's been on the show a couple times. I have a lot of colleagues from Buffalo. Yeah. So like just being the kind person that I am, I want to win it for them because I would like to think that if, I was watching the Mets in a playoff game, you guys would probably hopefully be having the same I don't know.
God, you're too
Feelings
nice.
for
Why
me.
what would make you think that? How much football did you watch over the weekend? Because it was a triple header on both Saturday and Sunday. How much did you watch?
I only caught parts of the Buffalo game.
Okay, so you didn't catch any of the Saints and Bears game?
I did not.
No?
No.
That was a big win for the Saints. I mean, no surprise. I mean, they're considered the matchup they got this weekend against Tom Brady and the Bucs is going to be huge. But it was a 21-9 win against the Bears. Really nothing going Chicago's way and Mitchell Trubisky's way and everything like that. But that game was unique because there were two different broadcasts going on. There was the broadcast that was happening on CBS with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on the play-by-play. And then if you flipped over to Nickelodeon, the broadcast was on Nickelodeon with Iron Eagle's son Noah, Nate Burleson, who's a tremendous analyst now for CBS and the NFL Network, who had a really nice career on his own. And then there were a couple of Nickelodeon teens, if you will, who were a part of the broadcast as well. And they basically, I don't know if you saw any of the footage. I don't know if you caught any highlights or clips of it. But they put together a broadcast that was supposed to be catered to a super young audience. We're talking about that kindergarten through like 7th grade audience. And there were a lot of people on social media who took to their Twitter timelines to let everybody know, hey, I'm watching this broadcast and I'm actually enjoying it. And I was one of those people as well. I watched the broadcast for about 3/4 of football, and I thought to myself, this is actually a really cool idea and a worthwhile broadcast, and it was a hit. And naturally, they tied in some Nickelodeon themes to the broadcast. Like they had, when the Saints were attempting a field goal, they had SpongeBob SquarePants appearing in between the uprights. So you just randomly see SpongeBob staring at you. When a touchdown was scored early on in the game, they had somebody in the graphics department create slime cannons, So there were like little cannons on each side of the end zone, all 4 corners, that were shooting out slime. I mean, it was a really cool, unique idea, and it was a fun broadcast for kids.
Yeah. That's a really unique approach to sports because I think the generation that you're targeting for this, they're still probably a little too young to understand the rules of the game and how all that works. So I know I'm overanalyzing it.
No. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about there are some people who just didn't get the concept though of this broadcast.
I think it's kind of cool.
I think it's a cool idea too. I totally agree. I'm not laughing at you by any stretch of the imagination. I'm laughing at the people who just didn't get it.
Right.
Like you remember, of course, Chris the Mad Dog Russo, being a native New Yorker, was on WFAN for many, many years, co-host of Mike and the Mad Dog. Now he's got obviously his own gig, Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM. Did you hear did you hear his analysis of the Nickelodeon broadcast?
No, I didn't.
All right. I've got it here.
Oh, God.
This is audio via Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM. You've got to listen to all of this in its glory.
Okay. Anybody who's watching that Nickelodeon for the game needs their head examined. The girl, when the Bear dropped the touchdown in the end zone, said, almost. This is the NFL. Almost. I mean, that's not the response you want. That Nickelodeon thing I could not get into. Oh, go ahead. What else? Number 3.
Like, I can't say Nickelodeon to save his goddamn life.
Anybody who's watching that Nickelodeon for the game needs their head examined.
Anyone's watching the Nickelodeon, I can't believe it. Like, why would you watch that?
It's like George W. Bush trying to say nuclear, say nuclear.
I don't think the guy realized. I don't think Chris Russo realized that there was another broadcast on CBS. Though. Well, here's the thing. Yeah. The way he's acting, he's making it sound like it was only on the Nickelodeon.
Anybody who's watching that Nickelodeon for the game needs their head examined.
It's like you just flip on your local CBS affiliate, Mad Dog. Boom, there you go. You can watch Jim Nantz, Tony Romo.
I mean, Chris Russo, do you listen to yourself talk? Sometimes you need your head examined, man. Like
anybody who's watching that Nickelodeon for the game needs their head examined.
Does he have kids?
I would assume so.
Then, come on, you don't know how to pronounce Nickelodeon, or he just doesn't give a crap and he rolls with it.
This is a guy who gets paid millions of dollars to talk on sports radio.
Could you?
Anybody who's watching that Nickelodeon for the game needs their head examined.
What is Chris Russo like as a father?
I don't know. You're not watching the Nickelodeon.
No,
that stuff's gonna rot your brain. You're gonna watch sports talk. You're gonna listen to sports talk radio. You're gonna watch the Yankees. You're gonna watch the Mets, and then that's gonna be the end of it. All right.
I want like Chris. I want to hear a bit, and then like SNL or somebody pick this up of Chris Russo reading like a children's bedtime story to his kids, and see how that goes.
Good night, moon. Good night, chair.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this? I don't care about this.
These are all inanimate objects.
These are all objects. They're not even doing anything. What are we talking about here? Mark Messier.
Anybody who's watching that Nickelodeon for the game needs their head examined.
God almighty.
And when he's saying goodnight to his kids, does he go, good night? See you in the morning.
Anybody who's watching that Nickelodeon for the game needs their head examined.
I can't even.
Oh, dude.
Mad Dog. Let's go, buddy.
He's a character, man. But speaking of characters,
yeah.
So again, cool broadcast, but it got me.
It was so cool.
It got me thinking though.
Yeah.
Like Nickelodeon or Nickelodeon is something that you and I could talk about and kind of and reminisce about, right?
Yeah.
And which is good. And it seems a friend of ours from.
No, it's bad. It's gonna rot your brain, kid.
Yeah. A friend of ours was also reminiscing about this because he's been on the show before. Andrew Champagne, a buddy of ours from Ithaca College.
Oh, jeez.
He took to Twitter to talk about his top 10, now top 20 Nickelodeon shows. And we have some thoughts about this.
We do. It was a list that really perplexed me. Not necessarily the top 10 list that he came up with, but the top 20 list he came up with. Because a top 5, a top 10, I can get behind. A top 20, number 1, I feel like that's way too much. Like, who actually cares about your top 20? Number 1, Champagne. Number 2, some of the shows that he had on here were just... I mean, come on. Nobody actually cares about some of the shows that are on there. And should we go through our top 5 shows before we give him a ring and put him on blast for some of his top 20, or should we do that after the fact?
No, let's go through ours first.
All right, you lead us off.
Number 5.
All right, number 5 Nickelodeon show, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Aren't you too old for that?
It still fell into my childhood, late childhood.
Number 4.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Not bad.
Let's rock.
Good show.
Number 3.
All that.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Number 2.
Hey, Arnold.
That's a good choice.
Number 1.
Rocket Power.
Rocket Power is your number 1 show, really?
Totally. Yep.
No kidding.
Wiggity.
Number 5.
My turn. I'm going to go with all that, number 5, because watching it now a little bit more as an adult, it's pretty good. It's like SNL except for the youth.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4.
This wasn't on your list. Doug. Where was Doug?
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
a good one.
Doug's a great classic.
Number 3.
This show never gets enough love either, and that's Double Dare. With Mark Summers. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about the perfect game show and the perfect game show for children. Double Dare's it.
Yep.
Number 2.
Rugrats. Love me some Rugrats.
Yep.
Number 1.
I went with Hey Arnold. So we were
Okay.
fairly close on some of those.
Yeah. And listen, like if I had a top 10, a lot of those would make it on my list. I think if we're going to go the route of honorable mentions, Kenan and Kel is going to be my honorable mention.
Now, see, here's where I take issue with Andrew Champagne's list. It's not necessarily the top 5.
It's the top 20.
It's the top 20. Double Dare at number 5, Guts at number 4, Rugrats at number 3, number 2, Legends of the Hidden Temple, and number 1 is All That. And here's what I want to do. I want to call up Andrew Champagne really quick and have him explain himself, because mostly for his top 20 list that he gave us. Okay, because nobody was asking for this top 20 list, but he felt it was necessary to provide a top 20 for us. And like I said, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of some of the show selections that he had on there. I thought some of them were a little too, I don't know, boring for back in the day, so I wouldn't tune in. So we're going to call him up right now and call him out on this. Now, he probably thinks that we're going to have a good, fun conversation here. Little does he know.
This is serious.
So this is a bit?
This is a bit. How did you know it was going to be a bit, Champagne? The fact that we were going to call you on To the Weekend and ask you some very important questions.
Define important questions. I feel it's important to know the scope of the inquiry.
Okay, Champagne, so here's what it boils down to, okay? A couple of days ago, Nickelodeon, or Nickelodeon.
Anybody who's watching that Nickelodeon for the game needs their head examined.
The Saints-Bears game was getting some rave reviews on Nickelodeon. And a lot of people weighed in on social media, and rightfully so, about some of their favorite Nickelodeon shows that they would have on a list of maybe the top 5 or the top 10. But you, Champagne, provided us with a top 20 list. And I want to know a few things. Number 1, why did you think that a top 20 list was sufficient to let us know of your favorite Nickelodeon shows? That is my first question for you.
I have a follow-up question, or rather a rebuttal.
Okay.
How many people listen to this show?
A significant amount, and you're going to be one of them this weekend. So congratulations. I'm so happy that you are going to be one of the new additional listeners to this podcast.
All right. Well, I'm happy to assist in any sort of new exciting project's growth.
This isn't assisting, Champagne. Just because you think you've got 3,000 Twitter followers because of your horse racing handicapping skills, that's not what I'm trying to get at here, Champagne. What I'm trying
come on,
to
let's
get
keep
at,
it nice, guys.
What I'm trying to get at is, hey, a top 20 seems a little excessive, doesn't it?
First of all, it's 3,017 followers. Let's just be accurate there. Secondly, my point was that SpongeBob SquarePants, while a fine program for the young ones out there, is not in the top 20 of shows that aired in my childhood. And it's honestly not all that close. Now, I did a top 10 initially to prove that it was not in my top 10. Well, then I got to thinking, because there were 4 or 5 shows that were just on the outside of my top 10. And then all of a sudden, we're into the top 15. And I'm going, wait a minute, SpongeBob might not be in my top 20. So, me with entirely too much clap time on my hands, Sticks reference for the win. I decided to complete my top 20. And when I did, and when I put Hey Dude at number 20 with a theme song that, as the kids say, slaps, I realized SpongeBob wasn't on it. So my point was made.
Okay, so next question I have for you then. Have you ever seen an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants?
Yes, I have.
All right, so I can judge you on that. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Third question I have for you. Why in God's name would you include shows such as The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, Cousin Skeeter, and I think that's about it. Those are the only 2 that I take issue with on your list of your top 20.
Shows that you kind of forget were on Nickelodeon.
You're saying that my list is 90% accurate. That's an A-, and I will gladly take that. Thank you.
Here's the thing. I'm saying that there are some shows that are a little questionable. I think I would have gone the cartoon route a little bit more than the human first-person sort of shows that you went with. But, I mean, come on. Cousin Skeeter, The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, give me a break. Get out of here with that chaos.
Good shows. The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo was a good mystery show, and I am a sucker for good mystery shows, as evidenced by the fact that I have several seasons of the Dick Van Dyke classic Diagnosis Murder on DVD.
Oh, good God.
Did you know Dick Van Dyke
you were
is
getting a Sticks and Diagnosis Murder reference when you called me, didn't you?
It's actually very relevant for this show. We were just talking about how Dick Van Dyke is getting a Kennedy Center award. Did you know that?
I did, and that's fantastic. He is a wonderful entertainer that has provided joy to several generations of people.
That he is. Here's my question for you, Champagne. I think Rocket Power is just skirting outside of its rightful place in the top 10. That's my only big issue with this list. Everything else I think is fairly respectable.
Well, thank you. My thing was really anything from 9 to about 13 or 14, you can juggle around a little bit, and I wouldn't necessarily have too much of a problem. My top 8, however, are pretty firm. I mean, there is a gap, at least for me, between Salute Your Shorts and Doug. Doug, for better or for worse, pays for the fact that the last couple seasons were on another network, and those were just horrible episodes.
What other network was it on?
It was on ABC for a little bit. For a hot second.
Really?
Yeah. Disney.
Oh, wow.
It was a
Disney
Saturday
owned
morning
rights for it.
cartoon block with shows like Pepper Ann, Recess, and a couple of others.
Don't remember that at all.
You don't remember those? Oh, I remember those.
No,
yeah,
I don't.
The new Doug wasn't having it back in the day, but I could get behind Recess and Pepper Ann. Those shows I was all in with. Those were good. Champagne, I don't really mind your list. I think Figure It Out's okay. I think that you are putting Legends of the Hidden Temple way too high on your list at number 2. All that I think is an okay choice at number 1. I don't necessarily like it. I don't hate it though, because I do think it's a top 5 sort of show because of how influential it was. I just have some issues with your middle teen ones, because you could even look at the Amanda Show. I think that was a flop. The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, nope. Cousin Skeeter, no way. Wild and Crazy Kids, I don't think it resonated enough with some people.
You weren't old enough for Wild and Crazy Kids.
Yes, I was. I used to have the popcorn back in the day. Nick Arcade, that was a very good one, but I felt like the Sunday morning time slot that it had wasn't necessarily the best either. So overall, I'd give you like a B+, I would say, on your list.
Well, gee, thank you. I thoroughly appreciate that. And I also appreciate you thoroughly dancing around the real reason I put all that number 1. Would you like me to go into that for you?
No, it's okay. I don't have enough beer for that. I actually ran out of my pint glass. So talk to you soon, Champagne.
Love you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
He wanted to talk about how he was on all that, in case you didn't know.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because of course he was.
It what, like as an audience member or an extra?
I don't know. It was. I was gonna say he basically I think entered as a kid to a contest and ended up getting selected and got an all expenses paid trip to LA. I don't know. He's very, very proud of it for some reason.
It's like another kid who we went to school with, Dylan Van Arsdale, who made some fame from getting on The Price is Right. You remember this?
But here's the thing. Andrew Champagne was on all that, okay? That's what you got to remember. He was on all that, so he was big time in it at 10 years old.
True. Very true. Let us know in the comments on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're finding this, if you think this list is up to snuff, because it really could be however you slice and dice it. I mean, it's a lot of great shows arguably came out on Nickelodeon during the 90s, and you could put it a bunch of different ways. That's all I'll say.
Transitioning from one sleaze bag to another sleaze bag.
Oh, he's not a sleaze bag. Come on.
He's not.
He's not.
Oh, I love ripping him apart just because it's fun. It's Champagne. He gives it he gives it back just as much as we do.
He'll be a sleazebag if he doesn't listen to the show that we just had him on.
That's true.
Right.
You had an interesting experience this weekend, it sounded like.
Yeah, so I was watching the Buffalo Bills kind of piecemeal as I was in a car dealer, and let me just tell you, that's an interesting venue to watch a football game because I'm half worried about like getting done with the finance manager after 7 hours of sitting in this building, right? Like, well, I want to get my ass out of there,
Right.
And two, like I've been saying, like, so when I was sitting down waiting to talk with the finance guy, the game is on the TV in the waiting area, and it's like Buffalo's up. What was it, like 10-7? I'm like, okay, this is good. Then I went in with the guy, came back out to take a break, and they were up by like 2 touchdowns. I'm like, oh, this is great. It was like 24-10. And then I go back in to sign some more stuff, turn around, and it's a nail biter. So like I was like worried about getting the car done, worried about you the entire time. Point being is I forgot how big of sleaze bags car dealers are. And I know it's like they have the stereotype, they have the cliche, but like this was really like they were doing well with like fulfilling that stereotype because it only took me 7 hours and 6 rounds of negotiation to get my freaking car off the lot.
6 rounds of negotiations?
6, 7, 8. It felt like a lot. I don't know. It was ridiculous. And like, I'm not a...
Come on, man. Hold on a second. Let me go check on that for you real quick. Let me see. Let me see what we can do for you. All right.
That's exactly what it was. And it was a really weird way to spend a COVID weekend because like first of all, there's a surprising number of people there buying cars in a pandemic. And I know I'm one of them, but like I've been on the market for a new car for a while.
Yeah.
But like it was packed. It was packed.
Well, you have
so
go ahead. No.
What
were you going to say?
No, I mean, so take that for as you may. Just like, I mean, you just don't think about that people are just out buying cars right now, but it's normal life for some people, and I consider it a normal thing for me. But it was just, I was surprised to see so many people out and about, you know. But it was just a weird experience, and like, because I have real world marketing experience under my belt. I have marketing education under my belt. And like, so I know every sort of sales tactic, every sort of little move they're trying to do, every sort of price negotiation. But like the thing that really got me, and I'm anxious to see what you and the listeners think of this, is that at one point where after I told him for the 4th time that his monthly rate for 72 months of financing was about $150 higher than where I wanted to be, this a-hole whipped out his phone, Googled what the average price of a car payment is for the American, stuck it in my face and said, well, just so you know, the average price of a car payment for Americans in 2020 was $550 a month. I said, what the F are you smoking? And like that was like the final nail for me, is like, because I was like having it, you know, I was managing with this guy for a bit, but as soon as he pulls a crap move like that, like, get out of here.
And
Come
you
on.
Still bought a car from this shyster?
Because that was because at that point I said, I told them to, you know, basically F off in one way or another. He brought the third salesman back, the third guy who I talked to, and basically the thing that had me on the fence was that they were not budging an inch. And I wanted them to give something. They didn't take a dime off the MSRP. And so I was trying to negotiate with them to say, all you're doing right now is changing around my monthly payment. So I'm still paying the same amount of money, just over different periods of time. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
And so I only gave in when they finally gave a little bit and contributed. So that was the only reason why I ended up buying a car from them, was that if it had gone nowhere after that last and final round, I would have been out the door after the 3 times that I already told them I was walking out. But like, it's really an experience that you really only should do once every 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Like get a car that's going to get you to last 10 years. But like, dude, it was rough.
Well, here's the thing, and
rough.
I feel like it's kind of 50-50 on some of these people that you tell to pound salt, basically, and then you kind of get ready to go, and they're like, oh, whoa, wait a second, let me just see what I can do. Just one more time, let me just see what I can do for you. And they end up kind of caving a little bit to your wishes and to your demands, but I don't know, man. Just so much of that, it's about making the buck, and you know those car dealerships these are the ones that blow my mind. The ones that are saying like, "Hey, we don't have any workers here that work on commission. Everybody just, gets a flat rate and everybody's here to help you out. It's like, yeah, get out of here with that nonsense.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't believe that for a second. Like the last guy who we spoke to, like thought he was doing me a favor by like showing me the back end of like their system and says, tell me how much money we're making on the car. And he like shows me the computer screen. They were losing like $2,500. But like the way they have the relationship set up with Nissan is they make $200,000, $300,000 back somewhere down the line in like the partnership that they have. So it's like, it's all just smoke and mirrors and BS if you ask me. And so like if you have a good or bad memorable experience with the car dealer, let us know because we'd love to hear about it because I'm kind of curious. Are there like reputable car salesmen out there? Because everybody who I've worked with in my life has been in the sleazebag category.
You still haven't told the people what kind of car you ended up getting.
I bought a Nissan Rogue, a 2019 Nissan Rogue.
Excellent.
It's a great car. First new car in 12 years. So
12 years.
It was yeah. So that was the thing. It's like I've had a car for 12 years. It's like so outdated, and it served me really well as the car I had all through Ithaca. So a lot of memories tied to that car. But like it was time for something new. So I wasn't budging on what I wanted, and that was the thing that was really driving me up a wall with this guy.
Sleazebags.
Yeah. Right.
God, terrible. That's brutal, man. I'm not even surprised. But hey, ideally, this is only a situation that happens to you once every so often.
Yeah, you can only do so many hours in a car dealer every few years.
Yeah. All right. That's about going to do it for us here. Episode 16 of To The Weekend. Say a prayer. Knock on wood. Keep your fingers crossed for my sanity and my livelihood for this weekend, please.
Yes, sir. I'll be watching and thinking of you.
Let's go Buffalo.
Hey, let's go Buffalo. You stay classy, my friend.
You stay classy, my friend.
Peace.